Hey, it's Sol with another video brought to you by Norman with a public announcement.
In case of fire, just remember, stop, drop, and roll. You may save your life and the lives of others.
The Battle for Azeroth expansion is coming, and today I'm going to do another round of add-on suggestions to help you survive your adventures in Zandalar and Kul Tiras. If you've seen my previous add-on videos, you'll know that I go for the a la carte style of add-ons, rather than just an all-in-one solution like LVY, which is a terrific solution for anyone who wants a bunch of features that they didn't know they wanted, and that meant to come off more positive, but sorry. Many of the add-ons that I'll feature here may sound familiar, and if they do, great. That's how you know they're pretty decent. We're all here to help each other out, so if there's an add-on that you think is an absolute must-have for this expansion, please mention it in a comment below and I will make sure that it gets a bump. So here we go. Before you install any other add-on, if you haven't already, install Add-on Control Panel. This lets you set add-on profiles for specific situations, like for example, featuring all sorts of different add-ons. You can save multiple profiles and then switch to the setup you like for a given situation. Now first, let's go over a few background add-ons. Badboy is an easy-to-use anti-spam tool that'll filter out unwanted jibber-jabber. AutoLootPlus is a lightweight add-on that speeds up the loot process. You'll notice it especially because most of the time you won't even notice the loot window when picking stuff up. Blizzmove is another simple add-on that lets you temporarily move just about any of the UI windows as you wish. You can also hold down the control key and use the mouse wheel to scale the window. This is different from another popular add-on called Move Anything. That add-on lets you reset the default position of pretty much every UI element in the game, which is cool, but it can get a little bit messy. Meanwhile, Blizzmove is super simple and doesn't require any additional configuration. The drawback though is that these UI panels will continue to open the way that they usually do. Cursor Trail puts a big sparkly ball on your mouse cursor, and you can change the size of the ball to be as obnoxious as you like. Alright, let's go for some informational stuff. TipTac is a tooltip add-on that lets you move the tooltip. My favorite part of it is that I can hover over other characters and quickly look up some basic information like HP values and who they're targeting. MinimapButtonBag was suggested to me by a guildmate. This handy little thing takes all those little buttons surrounding your minimap and organizes them all into a nice, neat line. SavedInstances puts a minimap icon on screen that lets you quickly get a snapshot of whatever raids or dungeons that you're saved to and some relevant currencies. For you alcoholics out there, Method Alt Manager is more or less the same thing, but it pulls up all the characters on your realm. Coordinates is pretty obviously a display of coordinates, yay! I like this add-on in particular because the coordinates are displayed there, next to my zone location, and on the map I can see both the position of my character and the mouse cursor, which is useful to communicate to others. All the Things is an add-on that will ruin your life. It displays a list of everything you do not have, from transmog to pets, achievements, profession recipes, and all the things. Get it? It'll continually update as you move from zone to zone, showing you what you're missing and a few notes on how to obtain them. For bag add-ons, I've been going back and forth between Addybags and Bagnon. I want to like Addybags for its organizational prowess and its bells and whistles, but I keep getting frustrated over how the layout changes as I'm moving stuff in and out of my bags. On the other hand, Bagnon is simple and effective with a very useful search filter, so Bagnon it is. For you min-maxers out there, Pawn will continue to be an easy and useful identifier for what stats are good for your particular spec. Just be sure to update your stat weights periodically to avoid making mistakes. Nameplate SCT is still my favorite scrolling combat text add-on, thanks to the smaller and natural visual footprint it takes up. I happen to have the numbers slightly bigger in this video, but you can change the size of the numbers however you like. Meanwhile, I don't take too much stock in nameplate add-ons, but I do like the look of Kui nameplates, so I'll just throw that in there. Alright, let's touch on the actual interface stuff now. For my unit frames, I'm using Pitbull. You might not have heard of it or forgot about it because it's really old, but it still gets updated, so it's all good for me. It takes a bit of configuring to get the unit frames to look this certain way with the sizable bars, but there's a lot you can play with using this add-on. SellJunk takes care of your grays, and that's about it. These days I use details for my damage and healing meters. I raid lead, so I tend to have both running at once, so I can see how people are performing in real time. Deadly Boss Mods is what I continue to use for raids and dungeons. There are a lot of specialized platforms out there, notably weak auras, but for anyone who's mostly looking for basic reminders and timers, DBM is a great way to get started. Angry Keystone still seems to be the way to go for managing mythic keystone runs just like it did during Legion. I've yet to try it out myself in Battle for Azeroth, but this should get a mention anyway. Meanwhile, Raider IO is pretty much a staple of any half-serious player interested in doing Mythic Plus. Whether you care for the add-on or not, other players will be looking at your score anyway, so keep that in mind. I'm still using Dominos for my bar add-on. I have basic needs and this has been a reliable basic solution. I have certain bars hidden until I hover over them so the UI doesn't look any more cluttered than it already is. So for example, above I have my travel buttons like hearthstones and wormholes. Off to the side are some of the raid utilities like flasks, pots, and drums. Dynamic cam is the reason why you see my character is a little bit off-center, which in my opinion is great for melee and tanks who could use a bit more room to see stuff. There are a lot of other immersive effects that are on by default, but you can play around with the camera however you like. And speaking of immersive, the Immersion add-on adds a bit of flavor to the otherwise dated look of WoW's quest UI. It takes a bit of getting used to with the default settings where quest text scrolls automatically, but you can always adjust that and other things in the settings. Personal Loot Helper may not be new for many of you, but with personal loot being a game-wide thing in the Battle for Azeroth, this add-on might help with your regular guild runs too. This is the type of add-on that needs the entire raid or team to have the add-on as well, but as far as I know, this is the only add-on of its kind. It'll basically notify users of potential loot to be traded around, and it manages how the loot should be distributed. Mission tables are returning in the Battle for Azeroth, which means once again you'll be using some sort of add-on to easily manage your followers. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which add-ons will work correctly with the mission table yet. Order Hall Commander has been updated for patch 8.0, however, it doesn't seem to work with the mission table on the beta. World quests are still very much going to be a thing in the Battle for Azeroth, at least for a while. World Quest Tracker has by and far been my favorite, making it plenty easy to map out the world quests I want to knock out on a single screen. HandyNotes will be an add-on to look out for shortly into the expansion, but at the moment there isn't anything to download that's BFA specific. HandyNotes will help you map out all sorts of things like rares and treasures. Combine this with TomTom to maximize your runs. As a tank, Threat kind of sort of might be a thing again, so I reinstalled Omen Threat Meter. I can see it in the comments now, it's really old, I get it. There's probably a handful of better ways to manage your threats, but I'm totally down for the simple visuals that show who's catching up. So those for the moment are the recommended add-ons to have set up before you make your way to the front lines. You don't have to install everything on this list or anything at all, but this should give you an idea of what to expect and prepare for. If you found this video useful, please hit that like button, it really helps. And so does subscribing to the channel because that way I can keep giving you more of this and all things Warcraft. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.